Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Reino de las Mascaras, the Kingdom of the Mask. And we are doing this live today. Basically, I'm just kind of doing this really quick to hopefully work out all the kinks to make sure that next week's episode rolls without issue, as the wife is going to join me on this one, and so I figured I would do it live next week for a couple of reasons. I think it'll work a little bit better logistically. We're going to be at AEW on Wednesday and Thursday. We're going to be back home, and then it's gonna be tricky because she's got to work at 5 a.m. So I figured we would do that one live, and I'm not sure if it's going to be Thursday night, if it's going to be Friday afternoon. Either way, she's going to be joining us. So I just kind of wanted to work things out, and I've never done a live before, so I want to make sure I know what I'm doing. I want to make sure I plan this out and I don't run into a scenario where it's just a complete mess. So I just kind of figured I'd do a quick live tonight as this week's episode. So for those of you who celebrate, happy Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a good helping of food and had good times and good tidings with friends, family, whoever you may celebrate with. The wife and I, we flew solo, so we just kind of did our own thing. We got some food from one of the local eateries. We made supper here tonight, and we just kind of had a nice low key day. So yeah, that was our day. We watched a lot of Star Wars. We watched a little bit of Harry Potter. Wife has to work tomorrow. Unfortunately, I do not. So she's already in bed. So hello, I see you. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for joining me tonight. So with that said, let's get into this week's mask. And this week's mask, I had to actually go through the backlog because I can't believe that I have not highlighted a mask from this particular luchador. In this case, Rey Mysterio Jr. And obviously, each week I do wear this one. I just I like the design. I like the gold. It's got the crown, so I figured that would kind of be a good one to wear week in and week out. But one of my favorite Rey masks in my collection is this one right here. It is based on the mask that he wore for the AAA action figures that they did in '94, I believe it was. But this was one. I'm gonna turn the light down just a hair. Oh, it is down. There we go. That's better. Really, really popping off the mask and kind of blinding everything. So that's why we're doing this tonight. But anyway, this one here was pretty much based on his 1994 mask that you would typically see Rey Jr. wearing. You've got the black markings over the eyes. You've got the white crown, the phoenix pieces on the side. Pretty much a pretty standard, for lack of a better term, Rey Jr. mask. You can see it matches up pretty well with this one that I've got on here. This one's got a couple of extra over here, and then we've got the one across the head there. But this was one I picked up. I actually picked this one up pretty late in my collecting phase. I stumbled upon this when I was looking for something completely different on eBay, and I saw it. I'm like, oh, let's grab it, And it's really become one of my favorites. It's kind of become a go-to when I'm wearing a mask for longer than just the show. The nice thing with this one here is it's got an attached piece down the chin. So all I do is just kind of flow the beard through it, and it sits pretty nice. I've got a pretty hefty beard. It goes all the way up my face. So masks like this one here do kind of sit a little bit better. Really depends on the make. I've got ones that I can clasp the chin piece on. Others I can't. It really kind of depends on the mask. But saw this one, picked it up, and it came in, and I was floored. I'm gonna take it off the display head here, so I'm gonna highlight it a little bit better. Yes, I do have a Rey Sr. mask. I can reach it from here. I do have this one, and it will be covered in a future episode, but I do have this one here. I think the person I bought it from did classify it as a both a Rey Sr. and a Rey Jr. mask, but I know when Rey Jr. debuted, his mask was almost identical to his uncle's. But, yep, that is the sole Rey Sr. one that I have, and it definitely will be covered in a future episode. So, set this one back on the shelf real quick. But yeah, this one here, it is pro grade, but it is a pretty lightweight material. Very breathable. I would have no issue wearing this, for an extended period of time. The only issue that would pop up is the eye mesh. And this one's a little bit thinner than a lot of the ones that I have, and it's a simple black color, so it doesn't affect my vision quite as much. I can't reach it from here, but I've got a Hysteria mask, and it's got silver eye mesh, and trying to read something on like a computer screen, for an example, is impossible. I wore that one for a work meeting one day, and I had it on for about 5 minutes, and I had to take it off because I could not see what the boss was putting up there to read, and I didn't want to get myself in trouble later on down the road. So you know how that works. But anyway, so you've got the back, you got the lacing on the back, which is pretty standard for lucha masks. No tags, so I'm not really sure who the maker is on this one here. I believe I actually had it brought in from Japan, so I know it wasn't Rey's Mask Maker, for sure. I can tell you that right now. But other than that, I don't know if it was the same folks who made the Super Dragon mask that I highlighted last week. Hard to say. But either way, I love, how the colors pop off the pink base. The black really shines off there, the white too. So again, this is your pretty basic Rey Jr. mask from the 1990s, which was exactly what I was looking for in this one. I love the classic Rey look. This is what I first saw when I first saw Rey Mysterio Jr. on WCW, and it's one that has always kind of stuck with me. I wanted to always have something like this, and yeah, it's definitely a corner piece of the collection. If you like these kinds of masks, definitely make sure you're following Dos Hermanos Lucha. They've got masks upon masks of this era, ring worn, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. Those guys aren't just collectors of masks; they are preservers of history, and I will stand by that 100%. These guys bring these very famous masks in, and they give them a good home, and they make sure that those masks don't become lost to the sands of time. So big shout out to those guys. They also helped me a lot when I was first starting my mask collection. I learned a lot from them. They did a podcast a while back that talked about kind of the do's and don'ts of buying when you're buying online, as well as talking about mask grading. So definitely give them a shout, give them a follow, give them a look. Again, that podcast was very instrumental in my habits when I started collecting. So give that a shout, give that a look. Yes, I do have WWE style Rey masks. I just don't have them within my reach on the shelf here. They're kind of off camera that way a little bit, but definitely masks that will get featured down the road. So definitely keep your eye open for that. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to sign off and just kind of go through things and make sure that this looks okay so that I can do it next week without issue. Episode number 50 coming up next week. The wife's going to join me. I've got some questions from my Discord friends. Definitely tune in on Instagram. Get your questions in if you have questions that you want asked. I will definitely add them to the list. That's another reason we're going to try and do this live so that we can kind of go as long as we need to. I like to keep these right around the 10-minute mark, and I just kind of want to make sure that we've got all the time in the world, and we can go back and watch these again. So Actually, I have, excuse me, I have Mystico masks. I don't have a Sin Cara mask, oddly enough. It was almost one of the first ones I bought like 10 years ago, but things were just kind of not good in my personal life. So one I wouldn't mind getting for sure, but yeah, yeah, it's kind of off camera here. I've got a ring worn Mystico that I highlighted. I think it was a couple of months ago now. But thank you everybody as always. Thank you for those who joined me live tonight. Really appreciate it. And for those of you who are watching after the fact, as always, thank you. Thank you for the support. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see, and get ready because next week the wife's going to join me. So it's going to be a fun episode. She's excited to answer some questions and kind of get to know everybody. So until next week, everyone have a good week. And as always, live, laugh, love, and lucha libre. We'll see you.